Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of New Westminster's Sunday celebration service. Please join us for our opening song today, My Favorite Things.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad.
Welcome back. I am Reverend Rona Segura, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to our Sunday celebration service at Unity of New Westminster in beautiful British Columbia, Canada. Whether you are watching us live on Zoom or on Facebook or on YouTube, or whether you are finding us on demand after the service, it is my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of all of us here. We would love to stay connected with you. So please subscribe to our newsletter on our website, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, or join our Facebook group. And that way you will be notified anytime we have a service. We are so glad that you are part of our experience today. The Unity Movement offers ideas for full and abundant living. We draw on the teachings of Jesus, who we consider our primary way shower and example. And we honor that there is wisdom in faith traditions all over the world. We respect every person's right to choose their own spiritual path, their own life path. All are welcome here. All are worthy here. All are celebrated here. We open our service today in prayer. I gratefully acknowledge that I speak to you on the traditional and unceded territory of the Semiahmoo First Nation. And we give thanks to First Nation peoples everywhere for their custody of this beautiful land. We give thanks for our connection one with each other. That connection that happens whether we are in each other's physical presence or not. the connection that binds us all together. We acknowledge that there is only one presence, that there is only one power, that power that is understood by many names, many faces, and many paths. And we affirm that regardless of the name, the face, or the path of our understanding, that we are one human family. And it is in that knowledge of our oneness that we send a blessing for love, for peace, for contentment to every being on this planet, to every being, regardless of all the labels that threaten to divide us. We are one. And for this knowledge, for this intention, and for the power that we have to bless, we give thanks. Amen. Have you ever had something wonderful within your grasp? Maybe it's something that you've always wanted to do. Go back to school, perhaps, or write a book, or learn an instrument. Maybe move to a bigger house, maybe move to a smaller house. Maybe to travel or to express yourself through art. Maybe it's something to do with a relationship that you would like, either a love interest or a partner relationship or a friendship, maybe a relationship with a sibling or a parent. Maybe there is a way of life that you long for, sobriety perhaps, or overcoming addiction of some kind. Maybe adjusting to a healthier lifestyle, maybe exercising more. We all have dreams, don't we? And many a time, those dreams are within our grasp. And what do we do with those dreams? Think of something that you have longed for at some time in your life. Did you go out and seize it? Did you follow your dream? Did you claim it? Or is it possible that you ran away, that you avoided it in some way, perhaps even sabotaged it in some way, so that it never came to pass? Well, if you have, then you will understand Maria and her behavior in the musical The Sound of Music, when she discovers that she has found love, and instead of embracing it, she runs away. Welcome to another week in our Summer of the Sound of Music. We are using this summer to explore the songs from the Sound of Music and how they have wisdom that we can apply to our lives. And this week we are looking at the song Climb Every Mountain. Let us look at the movie and what happens in the actions that lead to this song. In the movie, we see our protagonist, our main character, Maria, who discovers all of a sudden that something that she had never dreamed could happen to her has happened. She has fallen in love, and the person who she loves has fallen in love with her. And she is so scared by the greatness of this experience that instead of embracing it, she runs back to the abbey. She abandons the home where she is the governess and where the children adore her and she adores them. And she is so afraid that she runs back to the abbey, ready to take her vows to be a nun so that she is protected from the enormity of the emotion that she has just experienced. And we see the Mother Abbess receive her back into the abbey and then have a chat with her about what she's experiencing. She listens to Maria's anguish. She hears what Maria is saying. And then she offers advice to her, guiding her to a new awareness of what is happening for her and giving her a new way of looking at this thing, this love that Maria is experiencing and that she isn't prepared for. And then the abbess sends Maria back to face the thing that she fears the most, the thing that will bring her joy. If we look at Maria and we look at the Mother Abbess in this story, we can find lessons for ourselves. What do we do when we're in this place where we can grasp something that is beautiful, that is joyful, that adds to our life? Often we do exactly what Maria does, and we limit ourselves. We limit our joy. When I was applying to become a minister, the application process was very intense. Lots and lots and lots of essay questions that forced me to ask some really deep questions about myself and why I wanted to become a minister. And at some point, I got so overwhelmed that I thought, who am I to do this? Who am I to think that I would like to become a minister? And I called a friend. And that friend identified what was going on for me right away. And she said, you are upper limiting. Upper limiting. This is her term for what we do when we find something that feels too good to be true, something where we stop ourselves from claiming the delight and the joy that we long for. And we do it for various reasons, but what we're really doing is stopping ourselves from experiencing it. We think things like, I'm not good enough. Who am I to do this? Other people are more qualified. Maybe now is not a good time. And hundreds of other excuses about why we shouldn't claim the greatness that is waiting for us. In many ways, we are uncomfortable with claiming our joy. And so sometimes it is so uncomfortable that we actually limit our opportunities for fulfillment. We actually run away and we sabotage our relationships, our jobs, whatever our dream might be. If we get too close to it, we get so scared that consciously or unconsciously, sometimes we insist that it cannot happen, and we make it go away. The consequence, of course, is that we end up with this sense of sadness, this sense of not being fulfilled, perhaps a feeling of resentment. One of the other reasons we don't follow our dreams is that we think that, we shouldn't be doing this. It's not responsible, and what will other people think? And so one of the consequences of this is that we live in a place of fear and obligation and guilt, fog. And so when we're in that place, it's not really fun, because we aren't living from a place where we're loving what we're living. We're just doing what we need to do because of duty, because of obligation, because we want to be responsible. And that can lead to lifelong regret, questions of what if, or if only. What can we do? Is that the only option? Well, no, I don't believe it is. Jesus, our way shower, reminded us that we are to have life and to have it more abundantly. And so the question that we want to ask ourselves is, how can we live the life we love? And how can we love the life we live? How can we live the life we love? And how can we love the life we live? Well, in the musical, we find some answers from the Mother Abbess in how she responds to Maria. She represents for us the wisdom, the discernment, the ability to understand and make a choice, the imagination to find an alternative explanation that we will find within ourselves if we take the time to be still and identify what's going on for us when we're behaving like Maria, when we are so afraid of the greatness and excitement that could be ours, that we run back to whatever is safe, even if it is something that may not make us happy. And so the abbess suggests three things. One is that freedom comes from facing fears, from recognizing that you're afraid and then facing it rather than running from it. There's also a sense that it is not what we want to do, to live in fog, to live in fear and obligation and guilt, but rather that we have to live the life that we were born to live. That is a quote that she says. You have to live the life that you were born to live. And the third part is to remember that loving the life that you live doesn't mean that you love God less. In fact, I would suggest that loving the life you live is the best way to honor that creative power that we call God. And so when we are behaving like Maria and finding ourselves afraid, we really want to connect with the Mother Abbess within us, with the wisdom within us, to go into that quiet place where we can allow ourselves to consider what's going on for us. And how do we do that? Well, the first thing is to recognize that whenever we're experiencing some kind of a change, that there will be discomfort. There will be a sense of confusion, maybe even anxiety. There will be questioning, there will be doubt. There will be, at some level, a degree of fear. And so the question isn't if, it's a question of when. Just expect that will be part of you stepping into something new, into a different dream. It includes all of those uncertainties as well as the excitement. It includes the questioning as well as the knowing. It is this place of stepping into an unknown that is bound to be uncomfortable and scary because we are hardwired to stay safe. And so the first thing we want to do when we are breaking from an old behavior of self-sabotaging, of upper limiting, is to recognize and expect and accept the discomfort that comes with that fear, with that uncertainty, with the change and stepping into an unknown. And then we do what Unity considers its fourth principle, which is to go into a place of quiet. And when we're in that place of quiet, we can ask ourselves some questions. Questions such as, what are the consequences of me limiting myself in this way? Am I adding to the enjoyment and vitality of life around me, for me and for the people around me? Which is the best response to this dream that I have? If I stay safe, am I going to regret that and be sad or resentful or wonder what if? And how will that affect me and those around me? If I don't do this, will it land in my dream graveyard? What is in your dream graveyard? What are the things that you longed to do but decided against doing because of fear, of obligation, of guilt, of being responsible, of not wanting to disappoint other people, of doing what is expected? Questions that we want to ask ourselves in the quiet of meditation, and wait for the answer. Questions continue. Am I worthy of this joy? Is it true that other people are more equipped than I am? Is it true that this is something I should not do because I don't deserve it? Or are those stories that I am making up? And then, once we've sort of questioned and come to these questions, then we can move up into Unity's third principle, which is to be willing to look at our ideas and to change our mind. And that is what the Mother Abbess did. She basically said, Maria, you don't have to think that loving this man means that you don't love God. You don't have to think that coming to the abbey's walls is going to protect you from life. There are ways to love life outside of these walls. There are ways to love God outside of these walls. That's a different idea, a different alternative, a different option that Maria may not have considered without the wisdom of the Mother Abbess. And so we look at our unquestioned beliefs, our unquestioned assumptions, and we ask ourselves whether or not they're true and how we might look at them differently in a way that is more life-affirming. You may have noticed that I am wearing purple today. And the reason I'm wearing purple is in honor of the poem Warning by Jenny Joseph. It's a story or a poem about the courage that it takes to step out of accepted norms and instead to step into the freedom of living the life that we want and the dreams that we have. What's interesting is until I researched this poem, I didn't know that it was called Warning. I always thought that it was called When I Am an Old Woman, I Shall Wear Purple. Warning by Jenny Joseph. When I am an old woman, I shall wear purple with a red hat which doesn't go and doesn't suit me. And I shall spend my pension on brandy and summer gloves and satin sandals and say we have no money for butter. I shall sit down on the pavement when I'm tired and gobble up samples in shops and press alarm bells and run my stick along the public railings and make up for the sobriety of my youth. I shall go out in my slippers in the rain and pick flowers in other people's gardens and learn to spit. You can wear terrible shirts and grow more fat and eat 3 pounds of sausages at a go, or only bread and pickles for a week. And hoard pens and pencils and beer mats and things in boxes. But now we must have clothes that keep us dry and pay our rent and not swear in the street and set a good example for the children. We must have friends to dinner and read the papers. But maybe I ought to practice a little now, so people who know me are not too shocked and surprised when suddenly I am old and start to wear purple. When I first heard this poem, I loved it. I loved the idea of when I am old, I shall wear purple. And then somebody said to me, well, why wait? And she does address it a little bit, the idea of knowing that there are responsibilities that we might have. And yet so much of what we do is made up responsibility. And so for me, the message of this poem is to squeeze every day, to seize the life, the juice, the joy out of every moment. Yes, we need to be responsible in some things, but there are so many things where we can be a little eccentric and it does no harm at all. Or we can follow our dreams and still be responsible and feed our families and live a life that has more joy. Wear purple. And then one of the other thoughts that I have about this is to persist, to not give up, to hang on to your dreams. Some of you may have heard of an artist, a singer-songwriter, whose stage name is Nightbird. Her real name is Jane Marchevsky. And she is a person who was on America's Got Talent. and she has liver cancer. And Simon Cowell, who those of you watching AGT might know, America's Got Talent might know, is a pretty tough person when it comes to giving feedback. And he pressed the golden buzzer. Now, I don't know all that much about America's Got Talent, but I know this is a good thing because it automatically advances the contestant to the semifinals or the quarterfinals in this contest. And so he was so moved by her performance that he pressed the golden buzzer, gave her an automatic in to the quarterfinals of this competition. And last week, the first week in August 2021, she announced that she had to withdraw from the competition because her liver cancer has now spread. As you can imagine, she was absolutely devastated that she wasn't going to be able to continue the contest, but also, of course, that her disease is starting to spread in her body. And she conducted an interview on CNN. And I watched it about 5 times and took notes because of the power that this young woman had with her words. And this is what she said, quote, "I still got the magic in me. I'm pretty beat up, but I still got dreams." That's one of her songs, I believe. And then she said, and this was like, wow, this is the persistence, the tenacity, the holding onto your dream in the way that the Mother Abbess talks about when the Mother Abbess says, a dream that will need all the love you can give every day of your life for as long as you live. This young woman, withdrawing from competition, is still intending to continue to write music and sing for as long as she can, because she can. She has a 2% chance of healing, but 2% is better than none. And so what she said is, don't you want to see what happens if you don't give up? Don't you want to see what happens if you don't give up? Wow. What if instead of abandoning our dreams, instead of upper limiting, instead of saying it's too hard, what if instead we keep the curiosity hat on and ask the question, don't you want to see what happens if you don't give up? What if, even if I have a hard time believing that I can follow my dream, what would it feel like if I did it anyway? The song, Climb Every Mountain, reminds us to seize the day, to live our dreams, to squeeze the joy and excitement that lights each of us up. When we, like Maria, find ourselves questioning our dreams, when we're tempted, as we will be, to run back to the safety of the familiar, let us remember that discomfort is a normal part of change. It doesn't mean it's the wrong thing to pursue. It just means it's normal. Let us remember to ask the questions. Will this dream add to the vibrancy of my life? And if so, how can I make it part of my life? Because whatever I do to add to the vibrancy and joy of my world will spread to everybody, will spread to the people who I connect with. And finally, don't you want to see what happens if you don't give up? Don't you want to feel the freedom of wearing purple, even if it doesn't match, even if it's not what society says that you should do? If it brings you joy and it does no harm to anybody else, what if you did it anyway? Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow until you find your dream. You are worth it. I bless you.
Climb every mountain, search high and low, follow every byway, every path you know. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream, a dream that will need all the love you can give every day of your life for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream, a dream that will need all the love you can give every day of your life for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream.
You are invited to join us on Mondays at 11 o'clock for our weekly prayer service. It is a time where we get together on Zoom and we connect with each other. We share how we are doing with each other. We move into a time of guided prayer. And we read the names of the people who are on our prayer list. And it is a time of renewal, of connection. It is a profound experience of recentering. And so I invite you to join us for that. And if you would like your name, or you know someone who you would like to have added to that prayer list, then please email us at unityofnewwestminster@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to have the person's name or your name added to our list. Mondays at 11. You are invited to join us on the last Friday of the month for our Friday night house party and talent night. It is on Zoom. It is hosted by Jerry, and it is at 7 o'clock. It is a time for those who have talents that they want to share to bring those to the light with singing and reading or playing an instrument or telling jokes and making us all laugh. It is also a chance where several of us may not have anything that we want to share, but we want to be part of the experience. And so it becomes a place where we just chat and have some really fun times learning more about each other. Friday night, last Friday of the month, on Zoom at 7 o'clock. Join us. It's yard sale time. Our yard sale will be held on Saturday, September the 4th, the Saturday of the Labor Day weekend. Here is your opportunity to donate your retired treasures so others can enjoy them too. Donations may be dropped off at the church on Wednesdays and Fridays between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. from August 25th and until the day before the sale. The Labor Day Saturday yard sale, Saturday, September the 4th, from 9 a.m. until noon. Our dear friend Audrey Pound passed away last year, towards the end of the year. And the family wanted to hold off on having a full celebration until we could all come together in person. And so I invite you to mark your calendars for 1 p.m. on September the 11th, because we are going to hold Audrey's celebration of life on that day. Please pass that message on to your friends and people who might have known her. Saturday, September the 11th at 1 p.m. at the church. Thanks. There are many, many ways to give to our organization, either through credit card online or direct Interac transfers or checks or cash. We are so grateful for the generosity of the contributions that we receive, which support not just our ministry, but also organizations in our own community that do amazing work, and Unity Canada that spreads the message of unity across the country. Thank you for your contributions. I invite you now to hold whatever you feel blessed for in your hands, in your heart. Financial, family, roof over your head, food on the table, just whatever you are feeling blessed with as we sing our blessing song.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am
and we come to the end of another service. I thank you for joining us. I hope that you enjoyed your experience with us today. I wish you all a very, very blessed week. Goodbye, everybody.
And let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
I am the light of God. I am the love of God. I am the power of God. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. I am the light of God. I am